Pittsburgh Steelers defensive tackle Cam Hayward made headlines at training camp, holding an Latrobe in hopes of getting a raise for the 2025 season despite signing an extension back in 2024. Many were wondering if this would carry over into the season, but he has practiced with the team this week, until Thursday. Per Adam Schefter of ESPN, Hayward didn't practice with the team on Thursday. Steelers team captain Cam Hayward, who has wanted his contract adjusted this summer, was not in uniform today with the rest of the team and didn't appear to practice, Schefter reports. Hayward hinted at the possibility of sitting out the Steelers' season opener on his podcast, Not Just Football, saying, "We'll see," when asked if he would be playing Sunday. Mike Tomlin noted in his Tuesday press conference that he expects Hayward to play. The New York Jets open their 2025 season against the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, they will be doing it without a full deck of cards. On Sunday, September 7th, the team announced its inactive list. On the Jets pregame show on YouTube, they announced that veteran wide receiver Allen Lazard, defensive end Braden McGregor, offensive tackle ESA Poole, tight end Jelani Woods, and defensive tackle Leonard Taylor, 3 won't suit up for the season opener. Hashtag Jets announce inactives. Surprising to see WR Allen Lazard on this list. Hashtag PITVs NYJ, hashtag JetUp, hashtag Here We Go at NYJets. Head coach Aaron Glenn said Lazard would be healthy to go for Week 1. He wasn't listed on the injury report, which means they have benched Lazard as a healthy scratch, putting his future into question. Lazard has 27 career touchdown receptions. One of the other notable inactives was new tight end Jelani Woods. The Jets picked him off waivers from the Indianapolis Colts. Gang Green was intrigued by his massive 6'7" frame, but fans will have to wait for his NYJ debut. Jets make final OL lineup decision. Sources: the Jets will start Josh Myers at center and Joe Tipman at guard today as they work to replace Elijah Vera Tucker, NFL insider Connor Hughes revealed on X, previously Twitter. Sources: the hashtag Jets will start Josh Myers at center and Joe Tipman at guard today as they work to replace Elijah Vera Tucker. Cam Hayward's status could have a huge impact on Jets-Steelers result. Cam Hayward and the Steelers had been involved in a contract dispute. That dispute has now been resolved at the stroke of midnight. A deadline deal. Steelers and team captain Cam Hayward reached an agreement tonight on a revised deal that will add over $3 million in incentives this year and allows him to earn up $18 million this season, per source. Hayward will play Sunday versus the Jets, ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter shared. A deadline deal. Steelers and team captain Cam Hayward reached agreement tonight on a revised deal that will add over $3 million in incentives this year and allows him to earn up $18 million this season, per source. Hayward will play Sunday versus the Jets. Hayward skipped portions of the offseason in hopes that he would receive an adjusted contract. At the beginning of the week, Hayward said, "We will see," on the Not Just Football podcast about whether he would suit up. Now that question has been answered. The voice of the Steelers, Rob King, said when Hayward was on the field last year, Pittsburgh ranked second best in the league in yards per carry. However, when he wasn't on the field, the Steelers plummeted to 31st in that same category. This is a massive boost for Pittsburgh to have their All-Pro locked in and ready to go. Who knows if Cam Hayward is actually going to play in the hashtag Steelers versus hashtag Jets game Week 1, but at Ripking91 provided a startling stat from last year. When Hayward was on the field, the Steelers were second best in the hashtag NFL in yards per carry. When he wasn't, they were 31st. Aaron Glenn is combining philosophies for his fourth down strategy. Aaron Glenn is a defensive guy, but he doesn't like that label. He also has roots with the Detroit Lions, who were known for their aggressive tendencies on fourth downs. NFL insider Connor Hughes of SNY asked Glenn about balancing those things and how he is going to find his own path as a head coach. That's a really good question. I'll be honest with you, early in my thought process, I was to a point where let's punt and go play defense. But now, when you look at the analytics behind it, it tells you that there is a really good chance that you can make that. Mentally, I am somewhat aggressive, but I'm also calculated. It depends on who we are going against, depends on the situation in the game, but I know this, I'm going to be ready to make a decision, I'm going to make it fast, and whatever that decision is going to be, it's going to be best for our team, Glenn explained. Fascinating conversation between @Connor_J_Hughes and #JetsHC Aaron Glenn. They discuss the philosophy of aggressiveness on going for it on fourth down from a defensive HC perspective, but also one that came from the #Lions who are super aggressive. Movie camera @NiJets #JetUp #PITVisa. One thing will never change with Coach Glenn. Coach Glenn may have an open mind when it comes to his fourth down decision-making. However, one place he will never change is his information sharing at pressers. A media member on Friday, September 5th, asked Coach Glenn if he would be willing to announce who would be starting against Pittsburgh. Glenn blankly stared at the reporter for 6 uncomfortable seconds. He eventually broke the silence by asking, "Have I ever done that?" The reporter responded, "No, nothing has changed. Why would I tell you that? Why would I give another team a competitive advantage by knowing what we are doing? Think about that." Glenn fired back. Aaron Glenn versus the #JetsMedia. Media asked AG if there was any chance he would reveal who is starting versus the #Steelers. AG stared blankly at the reporter for 6 seconds, which felt like an eternity, rolling on the floor laughing. AG, "Have I ever done that?" Media, "No, but nothing has." Paul Andrew Eston Jr. @BoyGreen25, September 5th, 2025. The Pittsburgh Steelers trail the New York Jets at the time of writing, and the Steelers had a notable injury on the most recent drive. Safety DeShaun Elliott left the game, grabbing his knee after partaking in a tackle. The severity of the injury remains unknown, but we will provide details as soon as they become available. However, he has been ruled as doubtful to return with a knee injury. Elliott had a career year in 2024, earning him an extension this offseason to remain in Pittsburgh for the long-term future. The Steelers have allowed the Jets to get points on every drive in the first half, as Justin Fields has carved up Pittsburgh with both his legs and his arm.